Welcome back, everybody, to the Baltimore Orioles franchise here on MLB The Show 21. Last episode, we went through the MLB draft. If you missed that video, I will put a card in the top right screen. But we ended up having a really fun draft, and there are a lot of cool players that we ended up getting who are going to improve what is already a loaded farm system. Our top pick was third base prospect Shane Kovaleski, third overall, and we had a few other really good selections such as Muhammad Mauer, Michael Haas, and Tim Cloud. Today, we're going to go back to focusing on the Major League team as we cover the month of June. Well, we won't go through all of June, but we'll go through a large chunk of it. In the month of May, we definitely proved that we are not a fluke and that we're a legitimate contender to make the postseason. Currently, with a healthy lead over everybody else in the AL East, obviously we can't get too far ahead of ourselves. There's still 4 months left in the year, but we are in a pretty good spot currently in the division, and we've got a lot of guys in the lineup really playing well. Max Muncy was unbelievable in May. He's up to 17 home runs. Adley Rutschman is still hitting like 350 or something absurd. Unfortunately, Louis St. John is kind of coming back down to earth. He's only hitting about 280 now, which is still really good, but he has sort of cooled off after his hot start. The pitching hasn't really gotten better. Eduardo Rodriguez has played better, but the rest of the starting pitching, for the most part, hasn't. Of course, we did recently acquire German Marquez a few weeks back, and we hope that he can play better and improve the pitching staff. We do have an extra roster spot with John Means currently injured, and I'm going to recall up Sir Anthony Dominguez. I know he had a rough stint in the major leagues. He played a third of an inning, allowing 6 runs, and has an ERA of 162. I get that's pretty bad, but he has played well in AAA, and we're going to give him another shot here. So we're going to play this one here, the 1st of June, a 3-game set against the New York Yankees. This is the 3rd game of the series. We have split the first 2 games, so both sides are certainly hoping to win the series with a W today. No Heston Kjerstad in the lineup for Baltimore. He strained his calf in warm-ups, going to miss probably a couple days, which certainly stinks. It's not a huge deal, but it definitely is not great either. I picked this game because I wanted to get a look at Matthew Thompson, who had a really solid start to his rookie year. He's definitely not played as well in his past few starts, so we hope that he can get back on track today against a pretty tough Yankee lineup. Starting in the 2nd, full count pitch here for the first baseman, Luke Voit. This one's going to go into the right center gap for extra bases. Voit into 2nd, standing up with a double, and the Yankees now have themselves a base runner aboard in scoring position with no outs. Full count for Giancarlo Stanton. He draws a walk. That was an 11-pitch at bat, by the way. Stanton certainly has to make up for a lot of the power that Aaron Judge brought. Judge, of course, signed with the Diamondbacks in the offseason. Gary Sanchez with a single into left field. That will load the bases as the runner Luke Voit will not test the arm of the left fielder Bumaye. Clint Frazier then strikes out on the outside changeup. That's a big one for Matthew Thompson. And now the Yankees are going to need a base hit from Aaron Hicks to drive in a run. And it doesn't look like they're going to get it. Ramos chasing after it. He makes the tough grab. If he doesn't catch that ball, the Yankees score at least 2 on that play. So a great grab by Elliot Ramos. And we go to the bottom half of the inning. We'll get our first look at Garrett Richards, the veteran. First of all, he's got a 6 stash. 4.89 ERA. He's been a little bit underwhelming this season as he faces off against Adley Rutschman, who has been one of the best hitters in all of baseball this year, starting the game off with a single. I don't think we should be talking about Adley Rutschman like an all-star anymore. I think we should be talking about him like a superstar because I think he's risen into that category. Elliot Ramos goes down looking. That's a big one for Richards. That'll bring up the left fielder, Liam Bumaye, now, who gets a hanging pitch up in the zone that he liked. Wasn't able to get as far as he wanted it. It would be caught by Aaron Hicks. 2 smooth innings so far for both starters. They would get through the 3rd inning pretty easily as well, so we will travel into the 4th, still tied at 0. But that's going to change with one swing of the bat from Gleyber Torres, who gets that one off the foul pole for a home run, his 11th of the year. Gleyber Torres is a very interesting case. He is still a really good player, but he's a free agent at the end of the season, and the Yankees have him on the trade block, so don't be surprised if he gets moved before the deadline unless the Yankees start winning some games. Gary Sanchez now with his 2nd hit of the ball game. That one goes over the left field wall, and the Bronx Bombers are starting to come alive. It's now 2-0. Big inning for New York. Thompson a little bit rattled up, and we go to the bottom of the 4th. The Orioles are now going to get on the board. A moonshot and a bat flip from the rookie. Louis St. John, his 8th home run of the season, a 427-foot mammoth shot, and Baltimore will cut the lead down to 1. Louis St. John has such a beautiful swing, and I get the month of May saw a lot of ups and downs for him. He really started off well, but sort of cooled down the stretch. But if he can have a hot month of June, this may sound a little bit unreasonable, but it wouldn't be crazy to see him make the All-Star game. I think that might be a little bit unrealistic, but if he can start the month off really well, I suppose it's possible. Runner on now for Elliot Ramos. No doubt about that one. And the Orioles will take a 3-2 lead. What has happened here in the 4th inning? Both offenses have just exploded. Ramos with his 9th of the year. Both teams with a pair of homers in this inning. That's 4 home runs total in this inning alone. So the Orioles are now up 3-2. Huge bombs from LSJ and Ramos as him and Adley Rutschman celebrate at the plate. I don't think Baltimore is done, though. Liam Bumaye now with a rocket. Deep in a straightaway center field. See you later. That ball was an absolute nuke. 447 feet, his 5th of the year. And Baltimore now has 3 home runs here in this inning alone. The Orioles take a 4-2 lead. And, man, they have gotten hot quickly. Top 5, Aaron Hicks leading things off. That one will drop for a hit. Max Muncy unable to get to it quick enough. The throw from Bumaye. He only gets it to the cutoff man, so that'll be a double for Aaron Hicks. And it seems like the Yankees offense is going to try to stay hot. Big strikeout, though, on the following batter, Ian Ordonez. He's got to shave that beard. That's not the quote-unquote Yankee way. DJ LeMahieu grounds out to Thompson to end the inning. And that'll end Matthew Thompson's day. I think overall he pitched pretty well. Had a rocky 4th inning in which he allowed 2 home runs. But other than that, I think he did just fine. Bottom 5, Jalen Miller leading things off. Dribbler. Richards does not get to it in time, though. Jalen Miller showing off the speed. He gets the base hit. And now there are 2 on, 1 away for Adley Rutschman, who's reached base in his first 2 at-bats. Looks like he's going to get another one here. Into the left center gap. Miller rounding 3rd. Louis St. John right behind him. That'll be a 2-run triple for Adley Rutschman, and the Orioles continue to stay hot. Rutschman with his 3rd of the season, and it is now 6-2. The Yankees are going to make a much-needed pitching change. Tyler Anderson checks in. His first batter would be Elliot Ramos, and he will nuke this one out of the ballpark for a 2-run shot. Elliot Ramos with 2 home runs in the past 2 innings, 10th of the year, and Baltimore has scored 8 runs since the bottom of the 4th began, and there's only 1 out here in the 5th. Just wild stuff. Doesn't look like they're done, though. The next 2 batters would reach base. There's a single for Liam Bumaye, and this offense just looks virtually unstoppable. Inning would come to an end, however. Justin Upton strikes out, but still, back-to-back 4-run innings for the Orioles, and we go to the 6th. Sir Anthony Dominguez will check in. He's pitched in 3 Major League games this season. 1/3 innings. He's gotten 1 out, 162 ERA, 0 strikeouts, 5 walks. I mean, is it possible to be that bad? With 1 away, the Yankees will get a base hit here into right center field. Was hoping Sir Anthony Dominguez would go through the lineup 1, 2, 3, but that's definitely not going to happen. Giancarlo Stanton walks, and Dominguez now finds himself in a little bit of a shaky situation. Gary Sanchez will bloop this one into center. Ramos chasing after it. He will not get it in time. And the bases are now loaded. And the struggles for Sir Anthony Dominguez seem to have carried over from the start of the year. Clint Frazier grounds that one past the pitcher. Jalen Miller will tag second. He cannot get the double play, however. Run scores, and it is now 8-3. That's still a good defensive play to get the 1 out. And then Aaron Hicks proceeds to launch a bomb into right field for a 3-run shot. And clearly, Sir Anthony Dominguez's stint in AAA did not help him. 2/3 innings, he allowed 4 more runs, and he would be taken out of the game. So Sir Anthony Dominguez has now pitched a full inning in 4 appearances, and he's allowed 10 runs. His ERA went down from 180 to like 106. It's pretty impressive to have that bad of an outing and still have your ERA go down. Colin Poche would strike out the next batter to end the inning, but still, the Yankees got themselves back in because Sir Anthony Dominguez has forgotten how to pitch. Max Muncy gets plunked on the funny bone. And he's pretty mad at Tyler Anderson. He's going to stare him down. Had some choice words going to first. That'll bring up Adley Rutschman. That one will go fair for a hit into left field. So the Orioles now have a pair of runners on it. It seems like the offensive success is carried over here into the 6th inning. Base is now loaded for Luciano. And that one looks like, can it drop in left? It will not. It is caught by Giancarlo Stanton. So the score will remain 8-6 through 6, and we will move forward now to the bottom of the 7th. Colin Poche went through the top of the inning pretty easily, and Jose Cisnero will check in for the Yankees. 2 away here for Justin Upton on the 1-1 pitch. That one nearly took his head off. What a catch there out there in second by DJ LeMahieu. 1-2-3 inning for Cisnero, and we go to the top of the 8th inning. Another pitching change for the Orioles. Edwin Diaz checks in. Diaz has not been the most consistent throughout his major league career, but this season he's been exactly that. Consistent. 2.11 ERA. He would go through the inning 1-2-3 as he gets Clint Frazier going down looking. And it seems like the bullpen is really doing well for Baltimore, other than, obviously, Sir Anthony Dominguez. Bottom 8, Zach Britton. The veteran is in for the Yankees. He's been about average this year. Not bad, not great either. He faces off against LSJ, and there's another one. Louis St. John with 2 homers and 2 bat flips today. The rookie showing off swagger as that one went 427 feet. His 9th of the year. And Louis St. John, right when he was starting to get cold, his first game in June, he launches 2 home runs. Great to see Louis St. John really performing well in this game, and that might have iced it for Baltimore. That pitch was right down the middle. I don't know why you would give Louis St. John a hanging pitch right down the pike, and he capitalized. Orioles now up 10-6. That'll bring up the following batter, Adley Rutschman, and he lost this one deep into left center field, and it is gone. What a game for Adley Rutschman. He had 5 at-bats and reached base on all 5 of them with a walk, 2 singles, a triple, and a home run. An incredible game for Adley Rutschman. This might be premature to say, but is it time to start considering him as an MVP candidate? Because, man, he has just been nuts this year. His average is up to about 360. He's hit for good power. He's a legit MVP candidate, and I think it's fair to say he's the best catcher in baseball right now. Alex Colomé in for Baltimore in the 9th. Just going to try to finish this one off pretty easily. But it wouldn't be so easy as the first batter of the inning, Aaron Hicks, with his 2nd home run of the game. Again, going over the scoreboard out there on right. Hicks with his 6th of the year. He's had a rough season, but he really played well today for the Yankees. But it won't be enough. DJ LeMahieu goes down on the cutter, and the Orioles win it 11-7. The offense in this game was unbelievably impressive. 2 home runs for Elliot Ramos. 2 home runs for Louis St. John. Adley Rutschman went 4 for 4 with a homer, a triple, 2 singles, and a walk. The Yankees didn't even hit the ball poorly. 7 hits, 10 runs. Usually that's pretty good. But the bullpen just kind of sucked. And the starter wasn't much better either. As a total team, we had 6 home runs. Obviously, the 2 from Ramos and LSJ. Bumaye and Rutschman, of course, also went deep as well. We only scored in 3 of the 8 innings, but we still managed to get 11 runs. Matthew Thompson was fine. Sir Anthony Dominguez sucked. Oh, wow, his ERA is all the way down to 90. He allowed 4 runs in 2/3 of an inning, and his ERA dropped. That just blows my mind. Luckily, the other relievers were able to finish the game off pretty easily. So, I want to talk about the Louis St. John All-Star thing. He's currently 4th among left fielders, so he needs a really strong month of June, but it is possible, I suppose, that he could sneak in. It wouldn't be the most unlikely thing. We're going to simulate about 2 weeks. I wanted to play this series against the Tigers, even though they are kind of bad. They are my favorite team, and I think they have a really good future in this series. So we're going to simulate a 3-game set against Chicago, 4 against Boston, and 3 against Toronto. But before that, I do want to point out that John Means is now healthy from his concussion, and we're going to send Sir Anthony Dominguez right down. He has had a few appearances, and he's been okay, but we're going to send him down for the time being. It doesn't lose a minor league option, so that's why I'm willing to do that. In that span we simulated, we did fine. We took 2 of 3 against the White Sox, 3 of 4 against Boston, but only 1 of 3 against Toronto, and that is a little bit concerning because the Blue Jays are playing great baseball. They're now only 4 games behind us, 9-1 in their last 10. Remember the whole Louis St. John All-Star thing I was talking about? At first I meant it as a joke, but now he is second among left fielders. He has gotten off to a great start in June. He's now hitting .293, 13 home runs, and he's a legit Silver Slugger candidate. Among all the AL outfielders, they're pretty much saying he's been the 5th best offensively in the entire AL. And keep in mind, he missed the first 3 weeks of the year. He was in the minors. Just incredible stuff from Louis St. John. And now it looks like as long as he holds pace, which is easier said than done, he might be the 4th teenager in Major League history to appear in an All-Star game, and the first one since Bryce Harper over 10 years ago. Here's a look at both lineups for this game. The Tigers are led by a few talented players, including Spencer Torkelson and Akil Baddoo. Baddoo has really developed into a superstar-level player for them, which has been pretty fun to see. Adrian Hauser starting for Detroit, one of their few solid starting pitchers, but his day would not start off very solid as Heston Kjerstad with a deep shot into left field, 2-run blast, and the Orioles are going to start this one off hot. Kjerstad with his 14th of the year. He's had a really good month of June so far. I know he started the month off injured, but ever since he returned from that calf injury, he has been on fire so far to start this month off, and he's on pace to hit somewhere between, I would say, between 30 and 35 home runs this year, which is pretty wild. German Marquez will be starting for Baltimore. He's had a pretty good month of June and still has been very solid since the trade. The Tigers will drive in a run here. I don't know why it took Marquez super long to field the ball. He probably could have gotten the out, but instead Willie Castro is safe at first, and it is now 2-1. Castro's going to try to steal second. Not even close. Adley Rutschman behind the dish, part-time ball player, full-time sniper. Rutschman is still hitting .360. He's playing Gold Glove level defense, and he's throwing runners out like nothing. Is it wild for me to call Adley Rutschman an MVP candidate? I really don't think so, because he's been elite on offense, he's been elite on defense. What else is there more to ask? And he's been the best player on one of the best teams. Bottom of the second now, there's a nice single for Todd, who is currently 3rd in the AL Rookie of the Year voting. And then the following batter, Yusniel Diaz, the former Oriole, will drive in 2 off of a double. This is Diaz's first Major League hit. It's not his MLB debut. He's played in a few games prior to this, but it is his first hit against his former organization, who let him go on waivers this offseason, in which the Tigers signed him, and now he's making an impact at the big league level. So Detroit is now up 3-2 as we go to the top of the third. 1 on, nobody out for Adley Rutschman, who gets yet another base hit. Rutschman still is absolutely hitting the ball with ease. He does not lead the AL in batting average, though. He's currently 2nd behind David Fletcher of the Angels. Louis St. John now up. He's going to ground that one right to first. The Tigers will turn 2. The runner does advance to 3rd, but that still is a gigantic out there for Baltimore. They're now going to need a base hit from Heston Kjerstad to drive in Max Muncy. And that's exactly what's going to happen. Kjerstad with a single into center. Heston Kjerstad with 3 RBIs in the first 3 innings of today's game, and this one is tied at 3. So far, both games we've played today have been all about offense and all about Adley Rutschman. He guns down another runner. That was Willie Castro again. Did Castro not learn his lesson from the first inning? And then Rougned Odor on the very next pitch goes down on the sinker. So a good inning there for German Marquez, and Willie Castro needs to learn not to run on Adley Rutschman. Bottom of the 4th, the Tigers will drive in a run here as the catcher Gustavo Severino will get one in from a ground out to short, and it's now 4-3. Here is Todd now with a hit into right field. That'll be a double if he can get there in time, and he does not. Heston Kjerstad throws him out. The Orioles have thrown out 3 runners in today's game. I credit the Tigers for trying to be aggressive, but it just is not working. Kjerstad doesn't even have that great of an arm, which is kind of a surprise that he made that throw. Top 5, 4-3 still the score, as there's Marco Luciano on his horse with a no-out double. Luciano's definitely cooled down after his hot start, but he's still playing pretty good baseball for the most part. He would be driven in. Adley Rutschman does ground out to 2nd, but the run scores. Nice defensive play by the former Oriole Jonathan Scope, but nonetheless it is tied at 4th. Speaking of players facing off against their former teams, here's Michael Fulmer in the bottom of the 5th inning. He faces off against Akil Baddoo, who will get this one into the right center gap, and the Tigers will get the lead right back. It's a triple for Akil Baddoo, and it is now 5-4. Badu is hit for great power this year. He's had like 15-ish home runs. He's hitting for good average as well. And obviously he's great on the base passes. He's going to score here off of the sacrifice fly. And it is now 6-4. So a rough inning there from Michael Fulmer. Nice sac fly from Willie Castro. And we go to the top of the 7th now. Tarek Skubal is in for Detroit. He gets Elliot Ramos to go down looking. Adrian Hauser was taken out after the 5th inning, by the way. So this is the 2nd inning of Skubal. He gets Marco Luciano down swinging. Skubal's had a rough year. His ERA is in the 7s, but he was a top prospect for a reason. He's got some nasty stuff. 6-4 still the score. We go into the bottom of the inning. Adrian Almeida is in for Baltimore. He's had a really good season in 14 innings, 2.45 ERA. He's been really impressive, but his day would not start off too great as Yusniel Diaz gets another base hit. I believe he's up to 3 on the day. Yusniel Diaz is 3 for 3 in this game, getting revenge on his old organization. Next batter, Akil Badu with a single into left field. So the Tigers start beating off with 2 runners on. And if they can get one or both of these guys to score, that might be the end of it for Baltimore. And that's exactly what's going to happen. Willie Castro with a 2-run double. Both Diaz and Badu will score safely. And the Detroit Tigers will now make it an 8-4 ball game. Willie Castro, outside of getting gunned down twice by Adley Rutschman, has been really good in this game. Jonathan Scope now, the former Oriole, gets that one into left center field. Going to try to get to second. And again, not even close. I admire the aggressiveness, and the Tigers did drive in a run there, so it's now 9-4. But they've gotten thrown out 4 times today. We're going to go to the top of the 9th now. Not a whole lot of action in the 8th inning. Tarek Skubal is still in for Detroit. He's pitched 3 1/3 scoreless as Jalen Miller gets a single into right field, trying to help mount a comeback. Ryan Mountcastle now into left field. That one's going to drop for extra bases. The speedy Miller going to try to head home. No throw out in short from Willie Castro. I think he maybe could have gotten him, so I'm surprised he didn't throw it. RBI double for Mountcastle, his 16th of the year. And that'll bring up Elliot Ramos now with 2 away. This one is going to be flown into right. Yusniel Diaz makes the play. And the Detroit Tigers get the upset. 9-5 is your final. A tough loss here for Baltimore. You don't want to lose to a team like the Tigers who, well, aren't very good, to put it nicely. The offense wasn't terrible. Everybody outside of LSJ had at least 1 hit. But the offense just really wasn't consistent. Once Tarek Skubal entered the game, we didn't really do that well. The pitching wasn't all that great. Marquez kind of struggled. The bullpen wasn't much better. And Akil Badu was great for them. Willie Castro was really impressive. Jonathan Scope, Yusniel Diaz, they all had nice games. And Tarek Skubal especially. His ERA is still in the 7s, but he pitched 4 innings, only allowing 1 run, and it's the main reason why they won that game. So we're going to simulate the final 2 against Detroit, a 2-game series against Miami, and 3 against the Yankees. I wanted to get to this Astro series because they are pretty good. And again, we did fine. We ended up splitting the last 2 games against Detroit. We split against Miami, and we won 2 of 3 against the Yankees. So that'll put our record at 41-27. The Blue Jays are still making ground. They're only 3.5 behind us, but we still have had a pretty solid start to the month of June, and we're still playing good baseball. Hope everybody enjoyed the episode. Make sure to hit the like button and subscribe to the channel if you are new. Peace out.